Hi everyone, this is Stephanie back with Hightower Stitching and part 2 of our star quilt, which goes on video 214, and this is 215. I'd like to do 3 things today. One is show you how to make the columns, 2, show you how to add the columns to the quilt, and then added notes. When you look at this page out of the magazine, you'll see the way the row columns go. This is column A and column B. And you'll notice that column A has 2 of our muslin blocks and then a spare diamond, and you put it in there. When you go to part B, it starts with your star and you don't have that added piece into there, and they alternate between A and B. I laid out a row B, which is the next row that I'm going to do. I have 4 rows done, 4 columns. I'm really pleased. And so this would be the progression. It would be the star, a hexagon, a star. And if you look at those, you have the 1 point, and then you have the hexagons on each side, and then you go on down. So I've got the first few right there. And I was going to show you how I put those together to start. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the B at the top, and it's going to start with just the star. And I'm going to use this as my place to watch, this bottom point, because I know that's the one that I want to be facing down. So then I'm going to grab one of my hexagons, and you get comfortable with where you want to start. And I usually like to start with the point. So I'm going to take my hexagon, and I can see my reference points on there. I've got 2 dots. And I'm going to take and set this. Now remember that your seam is gone under right there. So you're going to actually set that point towards that. And then I'm going to pin it just to hold it in place. And then I want to take and straighten it out, pull it towards the corner. And if I have a dot on the back, I could look and see. And this one doesn't. So, but I can tell I don't want to pull it very much. I don't want it nice and smooth. So then I'm ready to start. And I've got my black thread again, so it'll show up. Sharp needle. I'm going to go in just like we did on our other rows. And I'm going to stitch all the way across to the next dot. So I've gotten all the way over to the other end, and I'm back. I keep knocking this. Sorry about that. And then go back twice. Now I'm ready. I can cut it off, or if you did it the way that I did, you could cut it off and turn it. But this one, because of the way I've done it, I can actually just go ahead and turn it, because I know that when it's open, it has to go up to this star, part of the star. So I'm going to go back where I was. I'm going to turn it to the left, and I'm going to start placing it. Now, when you look at this, you're going to get it to lay, and you're going to see, and then you want to make sure that this back piece isn't caught in it. All right, and so now I've got it nice and smooth. And I'm looking to see how close that might be. There's not dots on the back of that, but I can tell that that's really close to where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to start again. If you have it knotted, you can start there. Otherwise, you just take and go through it once or twice, and you're ready to take and stitch all the way over to the next dot. Now I've gotten it all the way to the other dot that we were looking for. And you can see I stopped it so I could stitch it on my knee, because you can see that looks a lot better than what I was doing yesterday. And then when I turn it over, there are my stitches, and they look good. So that's really stable. So then I'm going to take and I'm going to flip it up, and I have it for one of the pieces put in. Now, if you remember, in my mind, I wanted this blue one to be the point that was going to be pointed down. So I'm going to come over here and want to get another hexagon, and I'm going to come, and I think I can start with either this one or that one. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, I think I'd like to start with this side, and then I'll knot it off when I get to the end. So I want to take and set this dot close to that, in that seam right there, so those pieces match. That piece and that piece will match up. And I'm going to go ahead and stick my needle in there because I know that's where I want that to go. And I've got that set. Now I want to look at the right hand side. And there's my dot. And if you have your dot on the back, that's the thread. If there's a dot, then you could match it up to that. But you can see that without stretching it, because I started here at the center and came out, it's going to hit just right. Right, there's the dot, and there's where the other one was. So I think I'll pin that too for right now. All right, and so what I want to do is I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go ahead and run that stitch all the way across. Now I've got that all the way across, and if I flip it up, I'll lay it down here, see if you can see that. Let's see, me and the camera, there we go. And you can see that I have my point that I wanted to be at the bottom, and it's surrounded on this side. Now, this is where the next point's going to hook in, so don't sew anything there. That's going to be where the next point, which is this one, it's a dark blue, it's going to hook into there. We're going to actually sew 1, 2, 3, 4 parts through there, doing the same thing that I'm doing. And you just pick a part where you want, and all of your muslin should have the dots on it, and that's going to make it really easy. And then sometimes you run into one back here. If you want dots on all of them, you can do that, because I actually started out that way. Put that back. All right, so now I have one more part to do, because we said 1, 2, 3, 4, because if you were looking at it like that other star, you'd have 1, 2, 3, and you can see here it's flapping. And we're going to take, and this has got to do a lot with some turning. And there, that one turned really nice. And look how it just about fit right into the spot where I wanted it. But I want to make sure that this back piece doesn't get caught. So I'm going to have it out, and I'm going to take and start, and I'm going to stitch all the way across. Like that needle's doing really well. It's sharp. And these are pretty. These are a little bigger stitches than I would do. And it's not a puzzle. It's just a matter of looking at the pieces, laying them next to each other, and knowing where you need to stitch and where not to stitch. Now, have I stitched some things wrong? Yes, I did. And then I just went back and clipped them and pulled them out, because I'd get to rolling and I'm going, oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I was going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I do know, but it just wasn't the same. So now we've got this all the way across the bottom. And then you can go and press it if you're ready, or you can just add your next part. And usually what I've found works very well is that to watch the way the material's wanting to lay. Lots of times it'll like that, and you could press it that way. Lots of the hexagons, the material wants to fold out towards the diamond, but each one you just do differently the way that it wants to lay. And it really gets to be fun. And then the next part, like I said, would be to come to the next point that was pointing up, and you pick which one you want to start with. If you want to start in the middle and then do your next part, come back and do the middle and do the next part. And pretty soon you'll get comfortable. And you probably change a couple of times in the way you want to do that. And the next thing we wanted to look at was adding onto the column, onto your quilt. Okay, I've got the quilt that I've gotten done in my lap, and I'm working on the next row. And you can sew either side, just depends on how you want it to look. But I set my rows up so I don't have the same colors next to each other, but I just do it one row at a time. So now I've just taken a piece of this next row because I was going to use what I've already done with you to do the top part, and then I was going to do this as the next part. So it's always the same. Now I know, and I mark this for myself, that I know that the corner in my star is going to be on that part that's the muslin. So I'll pull that out for right now. And I know that's where I want to start. So I'm just going to take and tip this over. And I'm going to make sure it stays right there. I'm going to take the dot and I'm going to put the dot right there. You're going to see this is just all dot to dot. But always stop and look at what you're doing. And this is very familiar to you now because here's my piece that I want to sew. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to start and do a running stitch across here. No magic, just persistence. But it's beautiful. If you could see it in person. I have that one done. And because I started there, I could just turn and go, but I'm out of thread. So I'll change needle. Get my thread straightened out again. I'm still using a double thread. Move my pen. Now, if you open up while you're working on it, you can see that my star is right, that right there in the crook is the where it is. So now I want to take and go to the next one. I'm going to go and I'm going to turn it. And here's the next part of my star, that green leg that was there. This time I'm going to come over here to the right because that's where I stopped, and I'm going to line it up with the back piece. And I'm going to go ahead and hook this one in because I know that's going to be there. And then I'll go down to the end, travel down, and there's the one dot on the back side this time. So I'm going to line that one up with that one on the front under my big thumb there. And now I've got my next row that I'm ready to do. And so I'm just going to start, and I'm going to start again. You can hear it clicking in the material. And that click is where it hits my finger. But your finger gets pretty tough. And that little knot's not going to matter, so I'm going to keep going right down to my dot. And I'm going to take it back again. I'm not going to cut it off yet because I'm going to go turn it over and see where I'm going. So turn it back over. Okay, and now we have that corner hooked in. And I can tell because my thread is okay. How about that? My thread is down here at the end of this green one. And so what I'm going to do, I know that I'm going to go down here to this light blue one. You can tell that would be next. So I'm going to take and flip it back. And I'm going to get it lined up. I can see a dot, my dot through there. And lots of times what I'll do is when I lay it together, I will just take my pen and go back from that side to tell me where the dot is, and then just leave it there for a few minutes. And this one, on this end, I'm going to take and slide that knot through those two layers till it comes out over here at that one. And you don't have to do it that way, but you find every once in a while you try to find some way that you can make it go better, all right? And then you can see what I mean about patience. But if you've ever hand stitched, I say this all the time, you just go, oh, this is kind of fun, and you just get to going. I've already watched two series doing those first 4 rows. And go down. Now I hope you can see this, and this is clear enough. Once you start, and the first time, I'll take my pen out, the first time that I'm going to go ahead and take that. And the first time that you do that, you start teaching yourself, all right? Because now I know I'm going right across there, but I have a good idea what's going to happen. And so we have come 3 ways. And you can see now, because of the way it's set up with the star and the 2 hexagons and star and hexagons, that's what you're going to do all the way down, as long as you can keep going. And then it's just take and do it. And then just remember that you have to turn your fabric when you turn the corner. And we have this one. I've got to look at for where I want to put my pen. That looks pretty good. And then this place right here, push this out of the way, then I'm ready to pin. And then you're ready to start again. And you just do that all the way down on that side. And when you get finished, one edge will have the top of those diamonds, that extra part, and that can just come off. And then on the sides, you can either cut those straight, or in her case, if you're very good with using bias binding, you can actually, it will be up and down instead of being straight, and you could use bias muslin. I'd use the muslin to make that outside part. But I hope that helps you. This is really fun, and I'm looking forward to getting it even bigger than it is so I can look at my colors. But right now I've got to get busy and do some more stars because I've just about used up my stars. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll try this quilt. It was a great idea, and it's different from having the whole thing be diamonds where you sew the hexagon together with 3 diamonds. Here you have the whole one, and that should make it nice for when you get ready to either hand stitch your quilt or do it on the machine. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit like, and come back and visit again.